Tech Fan Productions here, bringing you another video. This video shows you how to upgrade your Directv receiver unattended. So you can pick up any one of the Raspberry Pis. I picked up the Pi 2 a while ago. I also have a 3 laying around, but I'm using that for something else. So it doesn't matter what you get, all of them will work. Really easy, real cheap. I mean, the cheapest one is $5. The only thing that you really need to get that makes this work is the emission and the receiver. You only really need the emitter. If you want, you can get jumpers, a case, power supply. I mean, that's all basic stuff for the Raspberry Pi, but I'm just showing it in case somebody has not been familiar with it. If you are, that's great. You probably got all this stuff laying around, so it should be real easy for you. So your only outlay would be the $5 if you don't have the IR transmitter. All right, let's look at the wiring. Wiring is real straightforward, very simple. Doesn't quite show here the transmitter side, but it does show the receiver side. The receiver is 3.3 volts and the transmitter is the 5 volts. You're going to use GPIO 22 for the transmitter and 23 for the receiver. And on the transmitter, the longer side of the leg is the positive. So here you'll see that on the right hand side of the lower, the script is actually running, and this is just to show you how it works, and then I'll go through step by step how to set everything up. So I just wanted to basically, the reason for getting this done is so you can update to the latest CE, which would be beta, or in the morning and not have to stand around or not have to get up early or not have to wait around for it. So really easy to write a script. The script will update. You'll see that it issues the commands. It takes about 70 seconds after reboot. All the script is doing is going through the menu. It's resetting it, and then it's kicking in the 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8 for the software to start going. You'll see here it's I actually have version 1077 right in the receiver. The version when I did this video was the older GUI. I did not want that. So the way out of that is just to reboot the receiver and everything will come back up normal. I actually tested this in the middle of the night. So last night it was 1077 in the stream. That was the new CE out there. So I did the update. I ran a cron job for it basically at 11:30 at night and everything went fine. Woke up in the morning, everything was applied and working fine. And I'll run through all those scripts. I'll show you how to go from start to finish. And you'll see as the receiver comes back up, everything works fine. And this is how we do the script, and this is how we do everything. First thing you want to do is you want to install LIRC. LIRC is the database per se, or the program that runs the transmitting and receiving of commands for infrared. So here, the next step you want to do is you want to edit the modules. Again, I'll put everything step by step into the notes, but you want to add these 2 lines. And again, this is where it's important for, I mentioned pin 23 and out would be the transmitter, which would be pin 22. You can make those any pins you want. Just follow the pin guide that I put in the video earlier, or you can grab one just by Googling it. Go ahead and save that file, and then you exit out, and then you want to edit the hardware.conf file. You're going to put in, just as you see me doing here, you're going to make these changes. Again, all this stuff will be in the notes. I'll put links to it so you can grab it and do the same and just cut and paste it in. So the next step here is to go and edit the config.txt file, and you're just going to cut and paste this one line in. This will be in the notes as well on the bottom. You can just grab it and throw it in, and then you need to reboot one more time. So as you see, another command to run, and it's a little bit at the top there, is IR record. The following commands that you see at top. Again, I'll put that in the links. Everything will be for you so you can grab it. This is the part that allows you to record your own signals from your remote and put it into a file. If you don't have the RC73, because I do include the RC73, so you don't have to do any of this. You would have to if the RC73 does not work for your receiver. So after you do that and you test, you'll see that you need to copy the file over. So you'll see that run a couple commands here that I'll include for you later, just basically showing it here. You're going to copy the file over into the etc/lirc directory. Then you're going to edit the file, which is the lircd.conf file, and you're going to change the name to, and put it in lowercase, it is case sensitive, RC73. So one thing to do is start and stop the services once again anytime you make a change. So that really what the big thing here is that you're going to be able to test I had done the mute key, but you can do any key that you load in. If you're going to do the mute, that's going to have the IR close to the TV. versus close to the receiver. So another program here is called FileZilla. You're going to want to SFTP over to your Raspberry Pi. That was the easiest way to transfer files over. I suggest creating off of your home directory, creating a directory called firmware, and dropping those files into the firmware directory. And then you're going to come back over to the Raspberry, and on the Raspberry, while you're in that firmware directory, you can CD over to that. You want to run these 3 commands. These commands will be in the notes. These are just copying the files over to the LIRC directory under the ETC directory. And after you do that, the next step would be to, of course, start and stop the services, because it needs to load up that actual file. And that file, that is the lircd.conf, that contains all the RC73 commands to walk through the menu. So the next thing you're going to do is actually install the scheduler. You're going to load a program called crontab. And crontab allows you to schedule this to happen when you're not around. That's the magic of the whole thing. So after you load this up, you're going to type in crontab-e. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to select which of the editors you want to use. Most common one is Nano. We've been using that all along, so hit 2 and then hit enter. And then the file here, and I'm going to include this here, is the script that actually runs, which calls to the Python file. So the timing in here, really the 3 stars will be your date, your month, and your actual day. So for this, it's happening at 11:30. You're going to want to put a day in there, most likely Friday or Saturday if you're doing CE, and if you're just doing the regular update, those happen early in the morning. So the next step here is to take a look at the actual Python file. The reason for stepping through the menu here is so that way you can do a reboot. There is another way to do a reboot to use the Raspberry Pi. You just want to connect to one of the other pins, wire up to the red reset button, and then play with the timing at that point. So there's a couple ways to do this. This one's the least intrusive. You don't have to open up the receiver to get to that button. You could do another way of turning the power on and off using a smart device to do that. But this one's worked well for me, so I highly suggest it. The big key here is to change the seconds where it sends the reboot command. It's set to 69. Probably going to want to change that to match your receiver if you're not using HR54, or if you have the minis on or off. If the minis are off, the timing is actually lower. I always have my minis on, so the timing for me works out to be 69 seconds. Hey, thanks for watching. Thumbs up. Took a lot to put this video together, so please subscribe, like. Appreciate your time. Thanks so much.